This may be a little too quick for you, but I doubt it.
For what?
Length.
There's no such thing. It's too quick. Too quick's a good thing.
Perfect. Okay. Well, how about this grooms area?
I could hang out in here.
I could definitely hang out in here.
I had no idea this existed.
I know, this place is awesome over here.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in the Exchange, for events, but man, this is cool. This is exactly, like, he nailed it the way he described this. This is a place that I would like to hang out with the dudes.
I could hang out here any night after the kids go to bed.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've got a back door to the little, because I was just thinking to myself, man, the only thing that would beat hanging out in here is having a cigar. I guess you could just go out to the little courtyard.
Yeah, they get a light up courtyard out there that would be great for not February.
No, it's a little well, actually, here we are, beginning of February. Just got done with a miserably cold, snowy week, and now we're going to hit mid to upper 50s later this week.
Yeah. I'll be happy to see where we're at next month with some more warmer weather, hopefully in March.
Well, Phil came out yesterday and said that he saw his shadow. So, if you believe in that kind of stuff, which I really don't, it's gimmicky. But the way this winter has gone, this has been spectacular.
Yeah, we had some good snow.
It's been a good golfing season, winter.
Not as of recently. The first part of January was great.
Just that one week was really the only miserable time we've had here. And it was nice. And it's a nice change of pace to get some snow. Yeah.
So old Kinderhook's ice skating rink been up and hopping?
Oh, it's popping, man. This past week in another hockey tournament, man, it was packed to the gills.
Ooh, that was a chilly one, huh?
I did not envy the parents on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, they don't, it doesn't slow down for them.
Yeah, they're fairly hardcore.
Yes. Yes. We stayed in.
Yeah. Well, let's get to January's market update we always start with Lakefront Homes. Some interesting stability going on in the market this time of year. January was typical. We had 32 home sales, down 3 from last January at 35. Okay. The big story, really, 30% of the listings have had price reductions. And that was down from 35% back in December. Kind of twofold. Sellers are understandable that this is a slower time of year. No reason to really go chasing the market if there's not that many buyers into the market, but also signs of strength that everybody has a pretty good understanding that it's going to be a strong spring. And I tell you what, our last 2 weeks on our phones, very, very active, especially for this time of year, even during all the cold. So I think with the downtrend of interest rates coming down, they've been a little flat here, but man, you'd have to think that they're going to go lower.
This is sellers you're talking about?
For sellers and buyers.
Both? Your phone's been ringing on both of them?
Yeah. Yes, for both sellers and buyers. Now, it's typical for this time of year. We're doing multiple preps on properties to go to market in the springtime, which now is a great time for anybody thinking about selling out there. Get a hold of your contractors now, get them out there, do some bids, do some fix-up stuff. You can get ready for the market if you think that you're going to be selling this year.
Nice.
Versus making that phone call in June or July.
Yeah. Good luck.
Yeah. Median sale price, $645,000, essentially flat from January's $650,000, just down to $5,000, which is, we get choppy from month to month, so not a big deal. Just 4.8 months of supply. So still a seller's market technically, slightly up from December's 4.7 months of supply. Last January, we were at 3.8, so we are above where we started last year. 263 lakefront homes available versus 199 last year. So there are more options out there. Days on market, 64 days. Last January, 58 days, so not a big movement there. List to sale price ratios, 95.3. Down 1/3% from last January, so really not a big change in difference in negotiating on that end. Current inventory price for the 300 to just under 500,000, down 14 homes to 27. Mid-range is 500 to 750, down 15 homes to 57. Upper to mid, 750 to 999,000, down 4 to 42. Luxury, the 1 to 2 million, down 6 homes to 37. And then the high-end luxury, plus $2 million, that 2 to 5, 37, which is unchanged from last month, and also $5 million plus 8 unchanged from last month, which tells you if you have that property that's above $2 million, January, February is not the best market for you. That doesn't mean that there's not a buyer out there. You can hold on to it on the listing, or you can really think about that listing process before you get into it, what your plan is going to be if you're still holding on to that property over the winter time.
Why does it necessarily matter? Why does that impact? You kind of made it sound like specifically to the high dollar, it's not a good time. Why? Is it because those buyers aren't here?
I don't think those buyers are here right now. Eyes aren't especially on Lake of the Ozarks right now. I mean, how many families are taking ski trips or they're traveling for hockey tournaments?
Sure.
I know I've got past clients, friends of ours that do the hockey tour, and I mean, they're all around. Multiple states during this time of year. There's wrestling going on, basketball's kicking off.
Yeah.
So not exactly that top of mind for Lake of the Ozarks for them. But I will say they still look at it online. There just isn't that motivation just yet.
Got it.
But it will be coming.
Yeah.
Lakefront condos showed even more encouraging signs. Only 26% of listings have had price reductions, down 34% from 34% in December. That's the lowest price reduction in months. Sales were up 14% over last January, 25 sales this month versus 22 last January. So anytime, especially over the last year and a half, that we can get a month where condos outpaced the previous year, that's cause for celebration. Median price was $325,000, down just $5,000 from December, stabilizing but lower than last January at $342,500. 7.9 months of supply, still a buyer's market in the condo sector. That was up from December 7.1. In last January, we were at 6.6 months of supply. So it'll be interesting to see for the condo market. I feel like that they have the opportunity to really take off this year. It's going to be very dependent on the same two things that was dependent last year. If HOA prices can stabilize, and if interest rates tick down a little bit and help people feel more comfortable to get into a condo. A condo is your most economical way to get a boat slip on Lake of the Ozarks. Yeah. And if you're the type of person that your family is very busy, you're a busy person, you travel a lot for work, you have essentially no maintenance to do, zero maintenance outside. Yeah. You just turn the water off, turn the water heater off, kick the air up or turn the heat down. Yeah. Out you go, and it'll be there when you get back next time.
And you don't even have to worry about it either, because most, at least where I came from, they had maintenance crews that came through and checked.
Yeah, double check everything, because they want to make sure the heat's on in your place.
They would open up cabinets, they would make sure the water's off, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so condos is a great way to initiate your experience in the Lake of the Ozarks. Yeah. Above from doing an Airbnb or VRBO. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of maybe even more so, because a lot of people just like they like not just that aspect of it, but they also like the kind of camaraderie. The what do you call it? Just the fact that you've got groupings of people. And I know a lot of my friends that they don't want to leave there because they all get together and play cards, or they all get together at the pool, or
hang out at the pool, hang out on the docks. Yeah. They've got other friends and family with kids at the right age. You move over into a single family house and it's a lot more private. Yeah. It can also be a lot more boring for you.
Isolated.
Yeah. If you do like that social camaraderie. Yeah. 345 condos available versus 292 last January. Days on market, 79 days, actually better than last year's 80 days. So there's another win for the condos. Okay. Listed sale price ratio, 96.25%, down 0.75% from last January's 97%. Current inventory, 2-bedroom, 91 units, up 15. 3-bedroom, 171 3-bedroom condos out there on the market, up 18 from last month. And 4-bedroom, 16 units. Only 16 4-bedroom condos out there in the lake area.
It's like a unicorn.
I know. It's amazing to me. That's up 3. And we're going to see that inventory building up for the spring market. And I'm more bullish about listing earlier this year than what I have been in past years. I think that this spring market, and it's really weather dependent, but the buyer activity that we've been seeing, I think that you can benefit from going onto the market earlier and beating that spring seller rush when everything hits the market.
So define early.
Pre St. Patrick's Day.
Okay, so mid-March.
Yeah, mid-March. I'm confident that you could put a well-priced property on before St. Patrick's Day and see some success.
Nice.
Your odds of it seem higher this year than in years past.
Yeah.
For lakefront home buyers with only 30% showing price reduction and 4.8 months of supply, seller confidence is building. January's slow period won't last. Once we get into spring competition, and just like I was saying, and you get this big rush and flood of new inventory on the market, sellers are going to have more competition. I think there's an opportunity to beat that rush. For lakefront condo sellers, it's a great buyer's market with 7.9 months of supply. The 26% in price reduction number, I feel that is seller confidence going into a strong year, and sellers are holding out for that. Our listed sale price ratio is down a little bit from what it was last year, so negotiations are happening. Don't wait too long. Priced properties that are fixed up are going to sell the fastest. So that doesn't mean that you leave money on the table. That means you make an investment into your property, fix it up. Maybe it's some paint, maybe it's some flooring. And on a condo that's 1,000, 1,200 square feet, it's not entirely that big of an investment. And we work with contractors all the time to help people out with that.
You've talked about this before too, where when, especially if you're in a condo, they're all the same. So how do you stand out? How do you differentiate?
Be move-in ready.
Yeah.
Move-in ready is the number one thing here at Lake of the Ozarks. The thing that, for the vast majority of buyers here at Lake of the Ozarks, they're not looking to come down here and take on a project.
Yeah.
They want to be able to move into it and hit the ground running for spring and summer.
Yeah.
There are contractors that come in from outside of the area that are looking for a property that they have room to make improvements on, but they want to purchase that at wholesale pricing, not full retail market price.
Yeah.
So if you want to maximize what you can get back out of your property, do some little things to it now.
$1 million question. Would you advise like theming versus, you're going to use the word boring, but using very neutral colors versus using something that's like very Jimmy Buffett feeling or very Arizona feeling or very tropical feeling? Does that potentially enhance, although it also takes away? I mean, what would be your take on that?
My advice on that is if you go very deep into a specific niche, you're going to narrow down your buyer pool for that market.
Yeah.
Now, is there somebody willing to pay up above market value for a Jimmy Buffett specific property? Maybe.
Maybe not even up, but just stand out above the same ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I've done this before with a personal property back in when I built my house in 08, and it was I didn't do like a Jimmy Buffett theme or anything like that.
Just throwing something.
But I had multiple colors throughout the house.
Yeah.
And we sold that house in 2016, I believe. And that is the only house that I ever lost money on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and it was because I
so
overbuilt
you have a
it for
bad
what it
taste.
was, and I painted it very eclectic, I would say. I had to end up repainting the place that I didn't get the money out of, just so that it would sell.
Okay.
So I go in with caution with making it very specialized.
Yeah.
I want to appeal to the masses.
Yep.
Some people call that low or call that generic.
Yeah. Low risk.
Yeah, low risk, and appeal to the greater buyer market for them to get in there, and then any buyer has the freedom to make it just the way they want it.
It's interesting because if you're starting to watch the conversations I have with Zach about the short-term rental market versus Jesse with the buying and selling the real estate market, two very different conversations, because Zach would sit here and say, no, absolutely niche it out.
Yeah, and I would agree with Zach for that, because if I was looking for a place to stay at for the weekend and they had pinball and arcades and some ping pong tables around, over a blank,
Yeah.
gray
Yeah.
and white baseboard
Yeah.
trimmed condo. I'd be like, no, my family's going to that place. We're going to have a great time.
I think a parrot head one would be a great theme. I don't know that I know of one. I think I might have to do that.
For a VRBO?
Yeah. Yeah, go full Jimmy Buffett Margaritaville, I mean, I guess there is Margaritaville. There's a reason there's a Margaritaville, but gosh, if you went full-blown Die Hard and, all the sayings all over the walls, the bright colors, it would feel like Key West.
So what are you doing in yours?
Fishing.
Fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're keeping ours very fishing just because it's set up that way.
There are a lot of fishermen that come here year round.
There's a reason. There's a method to the madness.
Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, so not going. So would you do a Jimmy Buffett theme one if you had a VRBO on KK?
Oh, yeah. I think so, because I think there's going to be people that want to rent. I think there would be an appeal to that. They want their own individual house. They don't want to necessarily go into the, entire facility or whatever you want to call it.
Okay, key tip there for KK sellers. Test Jeff out and go full on Jimmy Buffett.
I said I would do it. I'm not necessarily advocating for you to do it.
And if you don't have success, I can give you his phone number.
Fair enough. I already get bashed enough. Go ahead, bring it on.
For lakefront home sellers with fewer price reductions, we do have that feeling that spring is going to be strong. But it is very important, just like we just said, be priced right from day one. There's 3 different methods of pricing. Overprice from the market and expect to negotiate down. Price at market value to where buyers can see their options and can tell that there's value in your pricing and get that stronger contract price, initial contract price to you. And then the third is to underprice your property in hopes for many motivated buyers to look at that property and bid it up. Now, in this market, unlike COVID market, I would not suggest that unless you have a very highly desirable property, whether that's how it's trimmed out, location, or different amenities. We want to go in at that market value price and get that contract very close to where we're at. And with our systems out there, with doing pre-listing inspections, staging, putting on a home buyer's warranty, that's how our company, Lake Expo Real Estate, along with our partnership with LakeExpo.com, that we get the most eyeballs on your property possible, even with the help of Jeff and his following that gets to see them. They see all these things. They see, oh, it's already pre-inspected. We already know that there's nothing wrong with it. We're not going to be able to negotiate those items because they've already been disclosed to us. So on our listings, we get that higher price, that contract price to our list price, and then we don't have to mess with inspection negotiations after the buyers had a chance to have their inspections. That's kind of what sets us apart. I'm always happy to talk to anybody about that wants to have that conversation. Just this week I talked to a buyer who didn't know he was a buyer. He was on LakeExpo.com just flipping through some news story and saw a villa listing that I had at the bottom and said, whoa, what's that? I'm going to come check that out. So people do that from Iowa just from being on Lake Expo. So that's one of our unique draws for listing your property with us. For sellers, if you want me to help you with for buyers, if you want me to help you with finding your property here at Lake of the Ozarks, doing some research for it, pretty much this is what I help you do. I'll go through the numbers on a property, let you know if it's overpriced, let you know if sometimes they are at value. And it's a great value. And we still come up with a strategy to negotiate to get you the best deal possible. So what you see from me here is what you'll get from me on a buyer side. When I work with my buyers and sellers, I'm in communication with them every Monday, send them emails about what has come up new, what's gone under contract, and what sold in the past week so that we can stay on the same page with what the market's doing. And then I also set up Google Drive folders for all my buyers. I put listing sheets in there, disclosures, inventory sheets, anything possible. I can go video tour properties for you, upload that into a Google Drive for that specific property so you can reference it back. And then when you decide to make the drive down, you've already had all the information in front of you possible to go through, and then I can give you some red flags on what we're looking for. So I'm Jesse with Lake Expo Real Estate. If you'd like for me to work for you, I'm ready when you're ready.
Next month is March, St. Patty's Day, Mardi Gras is coming up. Man, it's going to start to get exciting again.
I tell you, the winters get shorter around here.
It does feel that way. It's my first full one here, and it feels short as hell.
Yeah, we just need to spin old Punxsutawney Phil around.
Yeah, I hope he's wrong. I don't know that I trust my livelihood with a groundhog.
Talk about a glass half empty kind of guy, that Phil.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see you next month.
Well, Jeff, thanks for checking out the exchange with me today.
This
This
is
has
fun.
been a pleasant surprise checking this place out.
Yeah,
You guys.
this is cool. If you need to do an event, I would highly recommend it. I don't even know what other options you have. So I think this is what a great place, locally owned, locally operated, history. It's perfect.
Yeah. Take care, everybody. Cool. How'd you like that one?